we can lump old Colton Steele into this group. The AVGs, the Anzalonis.
Carson.
I love that he keeps calling him Colton. Colton Steele.
I like Colton.
Let's go with Colton. Colton Steele has an alligator for a pet? Like,
It's the IDP show, now you know.
welcome to the IDP show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer, joined in the So Check tonight. Adam Markham, Bobby Reynolds. We are bringing you all of the top IDP headlines from the week that was, week 2 of the NFL season. Bobo, it kind of feels like the season's been going on for about 3 months at this point, though.
Yeah, it's we're a little injured. We're all a little hurt.
Banged up.
Sure.
Yeah.
Banged up pod. Bring it back.
It's like the NFL right now feels like a bunch of like mid-30s guys after giving their full effort in like a flag football game.
Yeah, wait till we
a lot of popped hammies and
add some more games.
groins. Yeah, let's do 18 games.
See how that works out.
I think that'll be fun.
For sure.
Definitely won't be more of an apocalypse, Addy.
And maybe that's why these teams are, more willing to put these guys on IR more quickly, But yeah, it's brutal. Just terrible.
You've called it something beautiful before, Josh. Basically, the war of attrition.
Yeah.
Is that
I
it?
came up with that. Yeah.
You coined that.
Yeah,
did.
I've heard that. I've heard that. That's
I'm a wordsmith.
Yeah, a lot of.
No one's ever said
that. A lot
that.
of your income comes from just coming up with
Coming
that
up with
saying.
phrases that become gems in
Yeah,
society.
you say a lot of really good stuff, man.
Thank you, baby.
How much do you think of right now is like some of these NFL teams maybe saving some players for later on down the stretch?
Yeah,
think so.
absolutely.
You know, like Kelsey's not doing much right now. Honestly, like Derrick Henry hasn't done much for Baltimore. I don't know. It just kind of makes you think like some of these teams know they'll be in the playoffs at the end. Anyways.
How are you feeling with Cooper Kupp and
Not great, man. Dude,
I mean, the whole Rams team, I think it even got the kicker or punter, didn't
it's
it?
going to be a tough couple weeks for Matt Stafford. That boy might get hurt.
Who's your number one wide receiver now?
DeMarcus Robinson.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tyler Johnson.
That's bad.
Jordan Whittington. Colby Parkinson.
it's going to be a fun offense?
Dude, it's going to be a tough
It's
couple
gonna be
weeks.
56 pass attempts.
Shout out J Ball. We went to a bar this weekend, and I was like, man, let's just watch Rams somewhere because they weren't on TV here. And boy, was that a mistake because by the time we got to the bar, Marvin Harrison had already scored twice.
Yeah, the game was over before y'all sat down probably.
Dude, and that O-line, I swear, like from an IDP perspective, start whatever linemen are playing against the Rams.
Yeah, Gardeck balled.
Swiss cheese, man.
3 sacks. Jared Verse looks amazing.
Oh, yeah. He really does. He really does. He looks the part. But, yeah, you're right, Josh. Everybody's hurt. It doesn't feel like week 2. It feels like week 12.
Yeah, it feels like the football is sloppy right now. There's not a lot of touchdowns. There's a lot of injuries.
The Saints are good.
I know. What's up with Bryce Young has been benched already. It's just this season's gotten off to a hot start in terms of just outrageous storylines.
We should have put Kamara back over here on the table after last week.
I know.
Good gosh.
Revitalized.
Yeah.
You love to see it. Things you also love to see, we're going to get into them tonight. IDP has been balling. If you look at combined leagues, I kind of took a little peek at some combined leagues to see who are the highest scoring players in fantasy football right now. Aidan Hutchinson is far and away number 1 across all of fantasy football. Alvin Kamara, you mentioned him, number 2. 6 points behind him by Big 3 scoring. Alante Taylor,
Sure.
just as we all suspected.
Let's go.
Then Baker Mayfield, Max Crosby, Fred Warner, Keon White, Pat Jones, Derek Carr, Devon Achane.
Isn't that wild?
Pretty good, right?
I mean, just one quarterback on that list, right?
Yeah, until you get down to Derek Carr. But yeah, Baker Mayfield at number 4.
Wow.
You get 2 IDPs before you get your first quarterback.
No, that'll definitely change. It'll be quarterback dominated. But, I mean, yeah, there'll be a couple of those guys that are sprinkled in up there, especially in these, leagues like that use what we prefer, Big 3 scoring.
Yep.
It's the way to be.
I will
the
say
way to be.
the pod really keeps me from giving my best in fantasy sometimes. Like this is a really important night in terms of fantasy football. I mean, there's a lot of waivers to set. And, I think me and Adam basically just divulged to each other that we hadn't set a single waiver yet. So by the time we get out of here, go home, I'm pretty drained. Like I'm pretty in bed. So you're welcome. We're helping y'all,
Suffering,
but hurting ourselves.
Yeah. Try to set them before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
But get a little still, and usually it's
lights out.
That's it.
Yeah.
Maybe I get 1 or 2 set.
Yeah. What are your most important leagues? Go there first.
Yeah.
Everything else.
How
is
many
just,
can we get in before we fall asleep? That's a great game.
Over
I like
under
to play on
3.5.
Tuesday nights.
Over under 3.5.
great Tuesday night game.
Well, speaking of Aidan Hutchinson, boys, let's go through. We got about a dozen or so headlines here pulled from Aaron's game-by-game recap. If you're looking for that format, it's over on the website, theidpshow.com. Aaron is doing the weekly game-by-game recap article, free to read, about 4,500 words.
Yeah, it's great.
If you just want to pop in, Control F, find the player you're looking for, he's probably in there. So give it a read. It's an awesome article. Mike's waiver article went up today as well for paid supporters, and then Johnny's Cornerback Corner, 5,500 words, every matchup, all the cornerback streaming options. Tomorrow, Wednesday, rankings go live. Scott Soltis's DL streaming article, the IDP update. So just all sorts of goodies.
Updated my dynasty ranks before I got here. Going to keep doing that probably throughout the week since we've had a lot of action, so far. So yeah. Things are happening. Things are changing. Got to get in there.
Things are changing, and I think Aidan Hutchinson might be a dynasty riser.
Boys, new number one.
New number one.
Let's look at him.
That's what I said before the season started.
Yeah,
I thought
great looking call.
That my number one dynasty IDP would be Aidan Hutchinson, and boys, he delivered this weekend versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We talked this offseason. Who will play opposite Aidan Hutchinson? He needs help. After 2 weeks, no, I don't think he does. Week 2, 57.96 points, 5 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble. He had 43 total snaps, 25 pass rush snaps, 6 pressures, a 29.2% win rate, 24% pressure rate. Let's just pause there, boys, and admire the excellence that Aidan Hutchinson gave us on Sunday. This is one of the most dominant performances we've seen in the last 5 years, Eddie.
Yeah, he's incredible. It was so good that, it made me move him all the way up number one. But, he's just 24 years of age. We're already seeing this type of production and ceiling. So, yeah, he's awesome. I think he is. I think he's number one as far as assets go in IDP. So, it doesn't matter who's there, around him. It really doesn't. He hadn't had help. He's got more interior help now. So that does, maybe that'll benefit him a little bit this year. But for the most part, I just think the dude is good. He's going to win against whoever.
He's winning a quarter of his reps, essentially. Crazy. Almost a third of his reps and getting pressure on about a quarter of his reps.
He's crazy, but he plays a ton of volume, right?
Yep.
And then just like effort, which is, we talk about it all the time, like probably the most important thing for a defender. And that guy just, there is, unlimited effort in that dude. So, yeah, he's awesome, man. And he's going to be a guy that's like a leader in the locker room. So, he's a pillar of that Detroit team.
Face of the defense.
Part of like the turnaround there.
Yep.
So,
and two, it's the Bucs. Baker Mayfield has been playing well. The Bucs won this game. You got Tristan Wirfs. This is a good offensive line, Bobo. And Aidan Hutchinson was just making him look silly.
Can I tell you where I think you may need to update? Aidan Hutchinson, are you trading for a first and a second right now?
Yeah, probably.
You're trading him for a first and a second?
If somebody's giving me a first and a second?
Yeah.
You would trade Aidan Hutchinson for a first and a second?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
What do you want, 2 firsts?
I would have thought he might be one of the first IDPs to be worth 2 firsts.
I think that's hard. I think that's hard.
He's right there. It's close.
I'm not saying this is far off, but yeah.
I imagine
we're splitting hairs.
I imagine you can get that offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially this week. Fresh off 4.5 sacks, started the season really hot.
Yeah, and sometimes I do look at like the trade value through like a lens of like the leagues that I'm in, where like there's everyone is aware that we have a podcast.
Yeah, nobody wants to move picks.
Sure. Right.
For
so
players.
it's hard to get deals done. Like I don't ever get like blown away. Especially like most of my leagues, I'm in there with like seasoned players, and like we don't make like those mistakes where we're sending away like boatloads of first round picks and stuff for IDPs.
Yeah, we had a little trade probably a couple weeks ago before the season started.
Yeah.
Right? And it was EJ Speed for a 2026 third-round pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. EJ Speed expiring.
Yeah.
He was my linebacker 5.
Yep.
So it's just like, Deals do happen. Picks do get swapped, but, you don't normally
typically see...
Yeah. That's usually like
It's an operational type
of
thing.
Yeah, that's the type of picks that I like to send out.
Yeah.
I don't like to send out multiple
Yeah.
first, but if I can get that, like because it's just so rare, you know. It's like think about like how many IDPs out there are even worth a first. Like there's like 10.
Yeah,
I was looking at the ranks. I'm like, man, like outside of the top 15, like I don't really care about
Yeah, you've got essentially
many of these folks.
Yeah.
You've got 10 people worth of first, and then maybe a plus. Aidan, I'm not going to give them in any order, but Foyer, TJ, Miles, Fred, Roquan, Max, Will Anderson, Nick Bosa, Micah Parsons.
No,
Aidan
give the
Hutchinson.
linebackers an order.
Fred Warner, Roquan Smith, Foyer, Aluakin.
Yeah, Fred Warner 1.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just like
I think that's the way-
days of him.
yeah.
The days of him being like this like guy that doesn't have like a high ceiling. Those are over. Dude's a freaking baller.
Yeah.
Also, he looks like big.
Peak
out
age
there.
right now, too.
Yeah, oh, yeah. he's in his
LB1,
prime.
7.
LB1 right now. Next closest guy is 11 points behind him. He's at 57 points. Next closest guy is Eric Kendricks.
And I just really feel uncomfortable with any linebacker in the NFL. That's really not one of those three. And
Even Foyer.
even the Foyer is a little concerning now.
82% this past week.
Yeah.
I was not worried last week. I'm starting to sweat a little bit.
It's a
with
defensive
that.
coordinator thing.
Yep.
I think this
Yeah.
is the new norm moving forward.
Apparently, nobody's playing 100% for the Jags.
Nope.
No.
They have 5 guys that are basically rotating.
Interesting.
Your rookie from Louisville.
Ventrell Miller,
Yeah. No. Yes, Ventrell
Chad Muma.
and Yasir Abdullah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Woo.
Got it.
Speaking of linebackers, let's stick in Detroit, though. Alex Anzalone left Sunday's game halfway through with a concussion. If he's out, is it finally Jack Campbell time? Or will we see Malcolm Rodriguez reemerge? Derek Barnes been getting a lot of work on the edge, so does he pop back in? I saw that's why he was getting a lot of playing time, according to Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator, is because he can play multiple positions. So what do we think? If Anzalone's out, do you want to figure this out this next week?
No thanks. No. I mean, I don't. Do you guys trust that?
No.
Nope.
No. If I don't have a good handle on the situation.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Rodriguez, dude. If it was Rodrigo.
And didn't Campbell get like 50% of the snaps week 1?
Yep.
And then it was like 70. What was it last week? 70 something.
It was more, I think. I've got John's article pulled up.
But
Let's
still,
see.
it's just like, yeah, I don't trust it. And Campbell was like, you never know with him.
It was less.
It was, looks like 72.9%.
Okay.
Last week.
Yeah.
So he played 44 total snaps in week 1 and 35 total snaps in week 2. The PFF grade, 56 overall in week 2, 57 in week 1.
Well, this says total defensive snap share, so maybe on the season, Jack Campbell is basically 73%, Anzalone 83%, Derek Barnes 94%. That's probably because Anzalone went out, and I think Barnes was the linebacker there.
But no, I'm not trusting Campbell. And also, we haven't really seen like that he can be that productive when he
Agreed.
does get a big, snap share. So now I need to see more of it before I trust him. It's a shame. Thought
It
we'd be in
is.
a different spot by now.
I know. And maybe we did see, I think there was a game where Anzalone was out last year and Jack Campbell played 95+% of snaps and was fine. So maybe this is the plan now that Anzalone is out, to let Jack kind of man the middle of the defense. But yeah, I don't know that I want to try to figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so last week, this is from Macri. Anzalone, 83%, Barnes, 93%, Campbell, 72%, Malcolm Rodriguez, 39%.
Yeah, so it was 72.9.
Yep.
Last, in week 2,
Yep.
56.4 for Campbell in week 1. So we'll see how it pans out. If you want to try to figure it out, go for it.
There's going to be a lot of
Nah.
people starting Campbell.
I mean, there's surely you got better options, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Safer options.
Let's talk about this next room and see if you'd rather go there. The linebacker cupboard is suddenly very bare in Buffalo. Matt Milano out. Terrel Bernard, pectoral strain. We worried it might be a pec tear. The injury that just took Juwan Bentley out for the season. So he's not out for the entire season. He will be back, but he will be out for a bit. In his absence, Balin Spector and Dorian Williams were the two mainstays at linebacker for the Bills. Both accrued 10 tackles apiece, though Williams had the better efficiency with just a 9.1% missed tackle rate to Spector's 15.4% missed tackle rate. So Balin Spector has been the buzzy name on the waiver wire. Dorian Williams has been getting some hype. We've seen him in spurts thus far this season. Do you all want to try to cast your line in the Buffalo linebacker room?
I mean, I'll pick him up, I guess, but I'm not starting him this week.
That face was just like, hello, darkness, my old friend, right there.
That's just, I mean,
Pretty gross.
I feel like if you listen to us, you're not in that situation.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
I mean, I'm in a lot of leagues, and I'm not really rushing out to, or relying on any of these types, these Dorian Williams, these
Balin Spector.
Regina Spectors, and
Regina Spectors.
yeah, she's like an indie person, I think.
Hey, I knew where you were going.
Balin Spector sounds like a ghost or something. It's the ghost of Balin Spector.
Yeah, yeah. That's you got to be down bad. It could work out, but I mean, is Spector going to be anything more than like a Cody Barton type of linebacker, where maybe he gets you 8 to 10 tackles?
He did wear the dot. Balin Spector wore the dot.
Drafted in 22 from Clemson, 7th round pick by the Bills. This is just a maybe couple week guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be Balin Spector and Dorian Williams until Terrel Bernard is back. It's just funny, the Bills, remember in the playoff game against the Steelers, I remember watching that game from Circuit. It was the wild card game. And it was, I think, legit, Dorian Williams was playing in that game because they were down to like their 6th or 7th linebacker.
Yeah.
That was when they still had, who was it? Was Morrow there? It was some other kind of nasty veteran.
AJ Klein.
Went out in the game, and then all of a sudden Dorian Williams was playing, and I was like, what in the world is happening in Buffalo? So
Yeah, another just weird situation there. I don't know.
Well, speaking of weird situations, let's keep this train rolling and talk about more weird linebacker stuff. Is the Walker McDuffie experiment already over in Green Bay? Is it time for Edgerrin Cooper? Some stats for you all. Courtesy of PFF, 56 linebackers have played 75 snaps through 2 weeks. By PFF overall grade, Quay Walker is 46th out of 56 with a 48.3 overall grade. Isaiah McDuffie is 50th, 46.6 overall. Walker has played 100% of snaps, McDuffie 98% of snaps. This was a position of need in the draft for Green Bay in 2024. So will we get more Edgerrin Cooper? Maybe even some Tyrone Hopper before the season's over? I think that was one of your flag plants, Addy.
Yeah, I said Quay Walker gets benched, right? I think Quay Walker's okay for this year, but I mean, Kyle B seems to not be a fan. He's been talking in our chat about how Quay Walker has not improved at all in 33 games?
33 games, yep.
So, yeah, there are some warning signs. The PFF grades, we just mentioned those. That's not good. But what are these young guys gonna be like? Are they gonna be much better? Probably not. I mean, they're gonna have a lot of learning to do as well. So, I feel like Quay Walker has a little bit longer of a leash. McDuffie, I don't really know that they won't have an issue of just getting him out of there.
But it's like when you replace your coach, like, can you go find a better coach than the one you have now? That's kind of my same thinking with linebackers. Like, yeah, you've got these rookies. Are they ready to be better than Quay Walker or Isaiah McDuffie right now?
Yeah, I don't think that was the plan. And it's 2 games. I feel like let's give them a little bit longer than 2 games, right?
Yeah, I still think there's some evening out to do, like, for both offense and defense, Bobo. I think these first 3 to 4 weeks of the season are basically the preseason.
Yeah.
You're going to see some rough play.
Well, and I saw some really crazy names on the waiver wire in week 1, and I think you'll continue to see that in week 2 as people get more and more frustrated with guys like, I don't know if they're going to drop Quay Walker, but they're liable to drop, Isaiah McDuffie. They're liable to drop, some of the Buffalo linebackers potentially. They're liable to drop. Surely they're not going to move like an Alex Anzalone. But, I mean, honestly, in some of these normal leagues, like some of these defensive linemen that have been available are pretty hysterical. Edgerrin Cooper still hasn't played a whole lot. 11 snaps in week 1, 7 snaps last week. So I'm with Addy. I don't think that the tide has completely turned yet. Now, I will say, I don't know, and you'll know this better, Josh, but I don't know how long they plan to be without Jordan Love. But that defense is liable to be out there a whole lot more often.
I think 2 to 3 more games.
Okay.
He could be back sooner. He was possibly going to play on Sunday.
Wow.
Which I thought was crazy. I think he's probably going to – he didn't put him on IR, So probably be back. This is week 1. It's 4 weeks for IR. So got to assume he's probably back sometime in that window if they decided not to IR him.
That loss to Malik Willis hurt.
Team's not great, guys.
Yeah.
Team is not great. DeForest Buckner on IR now. Latu's banged up. I mean, I told Connor and Dad before the beginning of the season, we were texting before the first game, like, all right, what do y'all think? What's your predictions? I said, I think like 7 wins maybe.
Yeah.
It's going to be an up and down season. Like, this is going to be essentially Anthony Richardson's rookie year because we really didn't get that.
Yeah.
He's like 22 years old, has like 17 starts under his belt.
He got a lot of learning to do.
He does. He's got all the gifts in the world, but the processing isn't there. Reading the field isn't there. Still making bad decisions.
That freaking bomb was hysterical, though.
Like, he
I
can
know
do
it was
that.
week 1, but God, that was a comical
Then he throws
throw.
a back off his back foot interception to
Yeah.
just, I mean,
You'll learn,
double
though.
coverage. I mean, it was an awful throw.
Who you got next week?
The Bears.
Okay.
So that'll be the
Should be
Caleb
fun.
Williams, all the fun Caleb Williams. Oh, he's a bust. Whatever.
Yeah, we'll
he's
find out.
terrible. He'll have his turnaround game.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We're back.
Here's the Caleb Williams we've been waiting for. The Colts are a get right game.
All of a sudden now Alec Pierce is a good PPR option.
It's the screw it. Alec Pierce is down there somewhere, man. I mean, literally, he just throws it up to this guy, and it just works. Like, he's a great jump ball.
I just hope that
Catcher.
Richardson can learn to process because his skill set is comical.
Yeah, his accuracy still needs a little work.
lot of work.
Ball placement. Reading the defense. But
You think Caleb Williams is a big old bust?
100%.
I agree.
he was getting his brains
Yeah.
just blitzed out.
What can you do? He's on the move every drop back.
Caleb's the same way, too. He does make some stupid throws. It just makes you think, gosh, if this guy can figure it out, he's going to be
He
fine.
will. That's still not a great
yeah.
team.
It does go to show you, though, it's boring in the NFL draft to watch these linemen be drafted, but look at the Lions now,
Look at the Chargers going
Yeah.
with Joe Alt.
and even like the Jets have a really good offensive line right there in front of, Aaron Rodgers. You got to build around that offensive line. It's super boring. Look at the Rams. They're about to lose their season probably because their offensive line is just really banged up. They don't have any backups.
Yep.
All those teams you named, though, good running game. San Fran, same
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
But, I mean, with the way that the NFL's going with defenses, these too high looks, teams that can run the ball,
For sure.
huge advantage.
It's a pendulum, dude. It always just swings. Goes pass heavy, defenses adjust. Offenses go run heavy, they'll adjust. They'll go pass heavy again.
It's also interesting to see, like, you get a guy like DeAndre Swift hasn't looked great with the Giants. That's funny. He'd be traded to New York. To go from Philly to Chicago, he looked awesome in Philly, and then in Chicago everybody looks bad in his defense. But yeah, man, interesting offensive line talk. in the
Offensive
IDP
line
show.
talk. That's right. Well, let's talk defensive line, though. We got a couple headlines here from the defensive line. Are we ready to get carried away with Oweh? 36.35 points for Odafe Oweh in week 2. Are we trusting this? Because usually Oweh is the guy with lots of pressures and no sacks. Now we're not getting a lot of pressures, but a lot of sacks. 3 pressures, 2.5 sacks, only a 9.7% pressure rate for Odafe Oweh. Meanwhile, out of your boy, Kyle Van Noy, 30.45 points with a broken orbital bone in his damn face. Continues to be underrated and might still be on your waivers. Go scoop him up if he is. I think Kyle Van Noy is a gem.
Sure, class act. Just classy dude, right? Just goes about his business.
I thought you were about to say business.
Business.
Should have.
17.6%
redo that.
pressure rate. Let's not. But yeah, I just think it's we've seen this from Kyle Van Noy.
Yeah, it's what you saw last. I think you
Yeah.
can expect the same type of production you saw last year. I mean, he's the veteran there. He's the leader there, and
To play with a broken orbital bone,
yeah, that's pretty baller.
that's some baller shit right there.
That's gonna get the guys going.
Yeah.
Hey, I've done that before.
Didn't get him the dub. They
You've
lost
broken
to
your orbital.
Got hit in the eye with a baseball back when
Oh,
I was
boy.
younger. Yeah, good
Terrible.
times. That was awful.
How long was it? Black.
He's still
3.5
blind in that eye.
3.5 years.
3.5 years. He wore an eye patch. You don't remember Bobby's eye patch phase
From the age
in
of
middle
6
school?
until 9.5.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
Patch Bobby.
Yeah, that's
There
right.
it goes.
Bobo, Odafe Oweh.
We're here, Bob.
Interested? Yeah.
Dude, I'm a fan. I like Oweh. I know that public perception would try.
That was Aaron's part in the article. I didn't put that in there for you guys.
No, we talked about it with John last week on the pod. Me and him just kind of Oweh guys, and I know the PFF grades for Odafe are great. 85 overall in week 1, 87 last week. Pass rush this week of 82.6, tackling of 75. I don't know. Oweh's just one of those guys where the skill set, the frame, the size, kind of the speed, first-round pick in 2021, 6'5", 257. Man, what if he could put it all together in a year? What if that guy could actually put like a little pass rush repertoire together? That was really
That's hard.
difficult.
Pass rush repertoire.
There you go.
Yeah.
Say that.
You got to say it real slow.
A lot of cool things being said tonight.
Yeah, a lot of cool things. Yeah, 66.7% of snaps for Oweh. Ojabo was actually next, 47.6, 41.3 for Cal Van Noy. So
in a game where the Ravens lost,
yes,
right?
yes, they lost. It was funny watching Max Crosby hype up Gardner Minshew, knowing the
was cool.
history between those guys.
Little boy.
Yeah, he's so angry. Yeah, so that's an odd team, but hey, they got scraped it together. Got a dub there against Baltimore. So
Mic'd up from him and Max will be cool to see.
I know. I do want to hear that.
Yeah.
doesn't Max
Come
have
on, guys. Let's do this.
Doesn't Max
I believe in you guys.
have a podcast?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So maybe he'll have Gardner on and they can talk through.
Yeah. They're in there smoking cigars, no doubt.
Yeah, doing some thug stuff, being part of the mafiosa.
Sure.
Got Addie really worried.
Talking about family.
Y'all in on Oweh at all, or just don't care?
It's funny. I think I bet not many people had him in the lineup this
For
week.
sure.
But we're gonna put him in there in just next week, aren't we?
Yeah,
He's
he's
been
gonna let you
old
down.
zero.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing with Oweh.
Yeah.
call.
It's like I've been through this dance before.
Yeah.
Just like as sure as Joey Bosa is gonna be banged up and miss time, Odafe Oweh is going to have some flashes and then let you down when it counts.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Most time on prime time is when he performs well. So if this game was, this wasn't.
If you got him in Monday or Sunday Night Football, put him in.
But best ball, yeah. Hell yeah.
Let's go. Yeah, better in best ball. There you go. But these guys, next up, not great in best ball, not great in fantasy so far. Is week 2 too early to panic about Brian Burns? 5 points week 1, 7.25 week 1. And to a lesser extent, Kayvon Thibodeaux, who put up a decent fantasy performance this week, 14.5 points due to some TFLs and a couple of QB hits. Panic meter on the Giants edge rushers, Addy.
I don't think so. I think it's maybe a decent time to buy, because I think most people are panicked. But, Burns just got a gigantic bag. He ain't going nowhere, and he's been good. I think it's just, weird vibes out of the Giants right now.
Yep.
I feel like the coach is potentially going to lose his job at some point. So, there could be a nice little glow up as far as morale and just situation.
Little Raiders last year.
Right, exactly. That's
tends to
exactly what I'm
happen.
thinking about.
Antonio Pierce let go from the Raiders over to the Giants.
Who are they going to hire? Who's the ex player they can hire?
Blake Martinez.
There it
There
is.
you go. The Pokemaster. Got to catch them all, baby.
He's familiar with the building. He knows his way
Love
around.
that you went Blake Martinez
We don't
of
have
all
to get him
players.
new
The
keys.
first one that
Not
came
Michael
to mind.
Strahan, Nope.
Blake's the one.
Blake's the one. That's it. 5.6% pressure rate for Brian Burns, 9.4 for Kayvon Thibodeaux.
Josh, you got to say the headline on this one.
If you play with fire, you're going to get burns.
Pretty
Thank you,
good.
Lauren. Pretty good.
stuff.
Pretty good headline.
Y'all scared?
Yeah, just because I think this team sucks. We had questions about these two guys, both underwhelming assets, and we thought, okay, maybe together, along with all-world defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence in the middle, maybe these two will make magic together. It's not happening so far. Are you setting these guys down? Yeah, probably. I think I would. I think I would put like an Andrew Van Ginkel in over both these guys, right?
Yeah, I can't blame you there. He's crushing it.
If you're starting two defensive ends,
Van Ginkel's become like a top
you setting
15 option.
Yeah, I was
in
gonna
my
say,
opinion.
are you setting
IMO?
these guys?
I loved where you went there. You were like, how high can I go?
He almost said top 5 because the word was, and then he said, nope, too spicy, top 15. I think I'm sitting both these guys down if it's just a start to.
What about this? Are you starting Gardeck over either of these two?
Gardeck's not getting the volume.
Yeah.
He got a lot last week, didn't he?
Well, last week's hard to look into because they were crushing you guys.
Well, good call. Rams.
Zaven also, his snaps are way down, so I wouldn't
But
look too much
Gardeck's
in.
going to get some playing time.
Yeah,
this
he'll
season.
be. It's gonna be
Nobody
him and
there.
Zaven.
50% of snaps.
Him and Zaven will be playing like on a normal week, like over 60%.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I would still have to go with
Burns.
Kayvon. I mean,
Eh.
he may need to think about it on the bench for a little bit.
He may need to consider him.
Sure.
Consider some things. Well, if you're starting this next guy, Trey Hendrickson, against bad quarterbacks, you probably want to fire him up. Week 1, he was quiet, 6.5 points, but he came through with 2 sacks in week 2. Coming up on the schedule, you ready for this? Washington, Carolina, Baltimore, the New York Giants, and Cleveland.
Wow.
He could have 10 sacks legitimately by week 8 with that schedule.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I think what Michael Lord said, he's going to be his #1 ranked edge this week.
#1 ranked edge. He's like, can we use him as the featured image for the rankings? And I was like, yeah, Mike, whatever you want.
What are you going to do, bro?
Yeah, that sounds great. But yeah, going up against Jaden Daniels, rookie quarterback, could be feasting time for Hendrickson.
Yeah, Hendrickson, he's awesome, dude. He's gotten better and better every single year, it seems. And he's someone I trust as like a low end edge one.
I was going to say, I wonder at the end of the year who we will see as like those madness winners, those guys selected at ADPs that just did not make sense, that way outperformed. Like I think Harold Landry's a great example so far, right? Like he's absolutely smashing it.
AVG is a great example.
Yeah.
He is, I think overall, AVG is a great example.
AVG's kind of like last year's Calvin Boy.
He's like,
Zach Bond is like the
if
the
you
lead
took,
breaker.
if you took Zach Bond, which people might have,
Yeah.
right?
The
I
hype
think
was
he
there.
was,
Yeah, we talked about him quite a bit.
We drafted late enough to where the hype was real. Like Keon White, I think if
White's a
this
great
keeps up, because there are other guys like Hutchinson and Crosby were first rounders. Fred Warner's a first or second rounder. Van Ginkel and then Harold Landry, I think, could be madness winners. So, speaking of which, I think Mike is #1 team across all the leagues right now, potentially.
Maybe so. I'll
Five-
try and
500
do,
points.
I'm not going to do what we did last year with the every week updates, but I'll
Maybe like once a month or
yeah,
something.
and I may do like an overall
once a year.
leaderboard. Once a year.
There we go. At
There,
the
I
end
like
of the
that's
year.
more my speed.
Yeah. That's what I meant to say. It was once a year.
Yeah.
We just don't update them at all. We just
We'll check in
assign the money.
April 2025.
There you go.
It's not a leaderboard.
Send that a leaderboard. Here you go, folks. All right. Well, let's keep it rolling on the IR, gentlemen. And IR and the DL. This one, unfortunate. It was not the MetLife Stadium turf this time, but it's still a huge loss. The budding star for the pass rusher for the Jets, Jermaine Johnson, tore his Achilles in the matchup versus the Titans. He confirmed via his Instagram on Monday. We did get the Will McDonald breakout game, though, courtesy of JJ going out of this game. Now, one of those sacks was on the Will Levis brain explosion where he fell down and decided to try to flip the ball.
He still counts.
I think to, was it Hopkins or somebody that he was like throwing the ball like this to?
Yeah, hey, quarterbacks.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, them dumb quarterbacks, boy.
That
Yeah.
mayonnaise on his hands.
Yeah, you got the coach literally saying, "What the F are you doing?" Like you could make out the words
Yeah.
from the sideline as he's coming off
Go
the field.
start Malik Willis then. Who's
Hey,
behind? Who's behind
he's gone.
Levis?
He's
He's gone. He's got the revenge game next week. Packers Titans.
Oh, wow.
That should be fun.
Who is
yeah.
the second string there in Tennessee?
Oh gosh, I'd have to look. I'm not sure.
Is it in Tennessee next week?
I don't know.
We should go.
You want to?
Malik Willis.
Absolutely not.
Are you kidding me?
Would
Yes.
never sit through
Gosh,
that.
there's
Can
nobody-
Steve get
Miss
us
all the
tickets
game
again?
for Willis Levis.
Dude.
Willis
We
Levis.
can see Quay Walker.
You made my brain explode because that's almost his name.
Yeah. Wow. Oh my God.
Willis.
We
But-
have to go now.
So that's the caveat, is that you had one of the cheap sacks coming off of the Will Levis brain explosion. But there's no Hassan Reddick news thus far. Johnson's headed to IR. I think the Jets kind of have to give Will McDonald a huge snap share.
Yeah, I mean, on the bright side, check mark for one of Addie's flags.
Which was
Will McDonald will outsack Jermaine Johnson this
Wow,
year.
go ahead and victory.
Too soon.
yeah. It is, Eddie. It's too damn
That is
soon.
messed up. We do wish the best to Jermaine. That does suck totally. But, you know.
But
hey,
hey,
Flag's a flag.
check's a check.
yeah,
right?
just to pour some dirt on that grave.
Sure.
I did get a win.
This is great, though, for Will McDonald. I mean, yeah, we're probably going to see like 60 to 70% snap share, I'd say. And, yeah, I mean, like 10 sacks on the season feels very doable now.
He's at 3 already, so don't need a whole lot more.
So I feel good about him.
Is Reddick continuing to lose money every game he misses?
Oh, yeah.
Like how much a week?
Probably like
$800K to $1 million, I think it was.
Jeez Louise.
Oh, God.
I think it was $800K because I think his pay was like $15 million for 17 games or 18 games, I guess, because they get paid during the bye week.
Wonder what the record is for like giving up the most amount of pay.
Well, you'd have to look
NFL.
at like Le'Veon Bell. I think that was the only one, at least in recent memory, where you had a holdout like that.
Man,
How
he's going to
long-
really regret that one day.
Oh, for
Yep.
sure.
Gave up $15 million.
What do you do if
essentially.
like he never plays again? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to
It's
he's
possible.
going to feel that one day though. That's tough.
It's also a bad look, you know?
And it's also like it's not just that, but you can invest that money and like
Yeah.
3x that money
Yeah.
potentially. Like
Listen to IDP bets.
yeah,
4x
Yeah,
it.
Go to Japan 1,000 times and do your cosplay.
Sure.
Just a bad choice.
Bad choices. Now, Will McDonald, we know, is going to be the beneficiary. Your boy, nose ring, Michael Clemens,
Oh
was
yeah,
the second leading snap getter at 50% of snaps.
yeah. Who knows? He hasn't really proven to be productive.
22% pressure rate, 50% of snaps.
He's done that stuff
worth a
before,
look.
though. You know,
Worth
yeah.
a look. Just keep an eye on him. Put a
Quinnen
star
Williams,
next to
yeah,
him.
he needs to get
Yeah,
going.
Quinnen's been a little slow.
That's the next point here, boys. You're leading me. You're just alley-ooping me left
You're
and right
welcome,
here.
Josh.
Are Quinnen Williams and Jeffery Simmons still top 5 defensive tackles? Williams' big sack season back in 2022, and he has yet to record a sack in 2024 after putting up 5.5 in 2023. Simmons has never had a double-digit sack season, with a career best of 8.5 in 2021. Funny enough, he also recorded 5.5 last year and has 0 this year too. What do we think, boys? Still top 5 defensive tackles, Quinnen Williams and Jeffery Simmons?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, there's let's look at him.
Okay.
I've got Quinnen Williams still 1, but I've also moved him into they've all been moved to the same like tier. They're all right together now because I don't really know how to sort them. Quinnen Williams 1, Justin M, Namdi M,
Namdi M too.
number 2, Jeffery Simmons 3, Jalen Carter 4. And then
Who's 5? D-Buck?
5 we got Byron Murphy, Ed
Oh, yeah,
Oliver, and then you got your guys like Chris Jones is old now. He's 30.
Yeah.
0.2. Who else was I just thinking about?
Defensive tackle
Christian Wilkins.
is a loaded.
He's 28. DeForest Buckner's 30 and a half now.
Yeah,
and
on IR.
yeah, so I mean, and that's what happens when you get past 30, that those IR stints.
I don't think
happen
he had
little more
missed a
often.
game in like 5 seasons or something, they were saying.
But
Yeah.
I will say, though, last year, Quinnen only had a half a sack through the first 9 games. So I thought I remembered 2023 being a slow start also. He did have some decent tackle games. But, yeah, Quinnen going to have to, get a little excited.
He has to step it up now. He has to
Yeah.
step it up because JJ's out, Reddick's out. Like if this team has
Wow,
playoff
you said
hopes,
JJ Reddick.
JJ Reddick's out.
Whoa, a lot of stuff being said.
A lot of words coming out of our mouths tonight.
No, Jeffery Simmons feels like the type of week where he's going to have 2 sacks this week.
Yeah,
Malik Willis
And also like
this week.
and also like there's just not a lot of defensive tackles that are getting a lot of sacks anymore, right? Like I mean, Aaron Donald's gone.
Yeah.
Like who are the candidates that even get over 10?
That's a gaping
Like
hole for the Rams.
Chris Jones,
Yeah.
Justin Namdi M.
Yeah.
I think I might just want Chris Jones at this point.
That flag is tracking too. Old Namdi Matabikwe has
Under?
started off a little slow also. The under 8.
Did you take under 8 as your flag?
No, Addy did.
Addy did.
Yeah.
You guys had so many.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to get 10 plus sacks from the interior
For sure.
I mean, so yeah, I mean because of that, I mean yeah, these
Derek
guys are
Brown's
still,
out. Christian Barmore's out. We should mention.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean Dexter Lawrence, a lot of people that we know our boy Ringer loves him, and he's awesome, like PFF wise. But he's just not one of those guys that I think is gonna like ever get like 10 plus sacks.
He's probably the 101 of defensive tackles in all 22.
right.
But for IDP,
Yes.
yeah, not
More
quite.
in that 5 to 7 sack range, I'd
Yeah.
say.
Packers are at the Titans. So if you guys want to go see Willis Levis,
Dude.
Yeah, it's
The showdown.
Think about it.
you should really think about
right.
it.
Let's look real quick. I
Over.
want to look and see who is the leading sack getter right now as far as defensive tackles are concerned. Jervon Dexter Sr. out of Chicago
Like we all
has
suspected.
2. and then a bunch of dudes with 1. Still, week 2, still early, but
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
They both need to step up now. Titans 0-2.
Yeah, I mean, all the DTs have been pretty bad so far.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's get it going, DTs. Come on.
come on now.
We're going to go to your Vikings, though, Addy, for this next one. Blake Cashman, Best Supporting Actor. If that game Sunday, which, great win for you boys. Sam Darnold looking good. If that game was a movie, Fred Warner and his 44.75 points won Best Actor, but Blake Cashman, Best Actor in a Supporting Role, 13 tackles, 1 sack, 1 QB hit, 3 passes defended, 34.85 points. Removing any doubt, who is the LB1 in Minnesota? You said it was going to be the Cash Man, and he has been cash money so far for IDP.
Hey, boys, all over it.
All over it, boy.
Let's
go.
I love Cashman. I mean, he's one of those types, right? That can win you a week. He has like potential to get 30 plus, you know, any given Sunday. So yeah, I'm a fan, and yeah, he's not going to come off the field. So yeah, he's great. We talked about it all off season, dude. I mean, like the reviews were great. Like
He is LB4 right now.
yeah, I called him finishing top 15.
So far, so good.
You know, and when they bring a player in like that in free agency, offensively or defensively, they're going to play him. You know, I think that's something that we need to pay more attention to, and we do on the defensive side of the ball. But I don't know. Sometimes we forget that.
We kind of wondered, is he the Jordan Hicks replacement?
Yeah.
What does the snap share look like with Ivan Pace? But the answer was just they saw what they had with Ivan Pace and said, we still need to go
need
get
help.
a Blake Cashman.
Well, and Cashman's 28. Like he's been around the league for a long time.
And he looked good in Houston last
right?
year.
Like that stuff absolutely matters. So I mean,
Yes.
yeah, Flores, you know, had a chance to go out and get his guy, and he got his dude. So
Got his guy. That top 4, let's just do top 5 linebackers. We mentioned Fred Warner, number 1. Eric Hendricks, number 2, doing the damn thing
crushing.
in Dallas. Zach Bond, number 3. Blake Cashman, number 4. Foye, still number 5. Big Bob Spillane, number 6. Jermaine Pratt, love this, number 7.
wow,
Singleton, number 8. To'o, number 9.
damn.
Logan Wilson, number 10. So there you
Wow.
go. There's your top 10.
How about that?
Baller.
Who of that
I mean-
sticks? I mean, once Christian Harris comes back, I think To'o.
Alex Singleton sticks. I think Zach Bond
I think
remains top 12.
I think he has that upside. I really do.
Yeah, I
Kendricks, I think, will maybe fade toward the back a little bit, but I mean, he looks
I
great.
think he's going to be great this season. I think he was one of my plants.
Hey, probably everyone was.
Yeah,
one of
we
your
had
plans.
about 60.
Had about 60 between you and Bobo. Blake Cashman, I think, will be in that mix. Foye, that's going to be interesting.
He'll
'cause
still
if you
be there.
shave 20% off his snaps every single week, if this trend continues.
Yeah, now he won't be
That's
LB1.
worrisome.
He's probably not going to be LB1
no,
this season.
you just can't. Not with that kind of snap
But
production.
he can still get inside the top
If he was
5.
playing 95% of snaps, you know, he could still finish
And
number
maybe
1.
it gets to that, right? I mean, that's the hope at least. This hovering around this 80%.
It's a little
range
worrisome.
is odd.
It's a little worrisome. Well, we mentioned him earlier. Let's just talk about him some more. Move over. Conan, there's a new Barbarian in town. He erupted onto the scene last season, as we know, but Dennis, the Barbarian Gardeck, is nearly halfway to his career best season in sacks through 2 games. However, he played only 26 snaps on Sunday afternoon, and according to Arndt, good friend of the show, Kyle Bellyfuel, could chuck a successful swim move on the guys Los Angeles is rolling out at tackle, even after a jumbo brought some cheese curds and 6 Coors Light. So,
I don't know about
Kyle B's nodding along in the recliner right now, saying, "Yes, sir, sure could."
That's right. That's what he keeps packed in the cooler. The
that's
cheese
right.
curds and the Coors.
Get you brought as well.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, I mean, Gardeck has looked, the long-haired babies are just having a renaissance right now. Singletons look good. Anzalone's look good.
We've been saying it since day one. The
AVG
long hair matters.
looks great.
Also, every long-haired person you know, they got a bit of an edge to them.
Yep.
They're a bit of a wild card.
You don't really know what they're going to do. Can you trust them?
They don't mind getting dirty.
You want them in
doing
like,
crazy stuff.
like a back alley bar brawl? I'm just grabbing the closest person with long hair
Yeah.
and bringing them with me.
They're the type that'll just touch an electric wire, you know? Like, hey, touch that.
All right.
I'm like, all right.
Whatever.
They're up for whatever.
They belong in like the 1980s, kind of just that like
Yeah.
nonchalant, don't care, whatever,
Cut
devil
off
may
sleeves.
care attitude. Yeah.
But they're all the same.
Yeah.
All of them. Even
Well-
we can lump old Colton Steele into this group. The AVGs, the Anzalones.
Carson.
I love that he keeps calling him Colton. Colton Steele.
I like Colton.
Let's go with Colton. Colton Steele has an alligator for a pet. Like, I think there's just something to the idea of growing your hair out. You're just a little more like, I don't care. I'm just going to go with the flow. Literally, I'm going to let the hair flow.
Yeah, it's a vibe, and I'm here for it, and it absolutely works in IDP. And we're going to start tracking this stuff.
Yeah, Rosebud.
Contract year out. Growing the hair out, in. We're checking that.
It's like captain's patch.
Yeah, it means more than that, in my opinion.
It does. It does. It's a captain's patch, but on your head. So yeah, Gardeck. We'll see. Bobo, this next one's for you though.
Sure.
Derwin James, price check. He played 59% of his 44 snaps from deep. It's only week 2 now, but that's 2 games in a row he's failed to score over 8.5 points. Are we witnessing the drop-off? An adjustment to the new defensive coordinator's scheme? What do you think?
Hold on. I wanted to pull up PFF Macri here because I wanted to look at the snap shares. So I think this is maybe not as indicative because it actually went backwards. So Perryman played 66% of the snaps last week. Henley, your boy Henley, 89%. Junior Colson dropped down to 14%, and then Troy Dye saw a weird 8.3%.
Colson had a hamstring injury, I believe, or something like that.
So maybe that's the bump for Dayon.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yeah, he suffered a hamstring injury in this game.
Derwin hasn't been great. I mean, he hasn't been like
91.7% of snaps.
Even last year though for Derwin wasn't like super special, you know? It was top 10, it was top 12, but it wasn't some unattainable like Aidan Hutchinson type year. You know what I mean? I don't know. For Derwin, I've always for the last couple of years, I felt like if somebody came and offered for Derwin, you know, you can find DBs anywhere, especially if you're playing in a league where you can have cornerbacks and stuff. Alontae Taylor is taking laps on Derwin right now as far as, you know, points per game go. I don't know. I'm okay to sell Derwin. Y'all might feel drastically different, but
yeah, Derwin was top 6. He was safety 6 last year.
If somebody would pay you for some crazy Derwin price right now, I'd definitely let him go.
What's a crazy price?
Is he my paying like a second?
Probably.
If I can get a second, yeah,
You
I'll
could
cash
probably
out.
get a second for Derwin.
I think it's probably the wrong time. You want him to have like that 30-point game, and then
I'm not
see
saying
if
this
you can
week.
cash out.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's one of those things where Bobby mentioned like casual, sort of shallow leagues earlier. Nick Cross is out there on waivers for people. They drop in Derwin James to pick up Cross?
Yeah, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah.
Go pick him up if that's the case. I mean,
Yeah.
Derwin absolutely, he'll turn it around. It ain't going to be this bad. I mean, he's still an awesome player. But, yeah, if you have a chance to sell Derwin James, you definitely do it. You should have sold like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
14.6 points per game in 21, 15 in 22, and 13.3 in 2023.
So, and I think it's just this defensive scheme, and I think we just need to pay attention over these next few weeks to see what his alignment looks like, where is he being deployed.
Yeah.
And then we can kind of start to make a decision.
Yeah, no, the move is to sell now and then buy him back because I think he's going to have a nice little, like, you know, early 30s.
Yeah.
You know, to finish his career off.
He's going to age well.
Yeah, he'll be good. He'll be like Harrison Smith.
Yeah.
You know, he'll still be putting up top 15 safety seasons at age 32, 33.
For
This
sure.
is just a weird team to figure out, man. The linebackers are a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, the safeties.
But you can afford to miss out on the next couple of years, but you'll have a chance to get back in. Again, it's like that's the way I like to play
Agreed.
Dynasty. Like really just buy these veterans for the most part.
So, yeah, Joey Bosa, I wanted to see what the edge rotation looked like. Khalil Mack, 67% of snaps. Thule, 65 essentially. Joey Bosa was down at 29.2 because, of course, he was. Lingering back issue. Yeah, but then, like, the linebackers have been all over the place.
Can't trust any of them.
Safety, Elijah Molden, Derwin James, with top of the mountain, A.J. Finley, Tony Jefferson sniffing around.
That is true. Me and Macri talked about that last week, and I said I wasn't starting any of those Chargers linebackers.
No.
You can't rely on that.
That's the situation. Like we talked earlier about, do you want to figure out the Lions situation? I'd rather figure that one out than figure out the Chargers. Because I think you're just headed for a world of hurt.
Don't you feel like there's a lot of situations like that in the NFL right now,
man.
where you're like, I don't know.
That's a so knowing what we know now, like with as many drafts we did this offseason, everyone mainly goes like DL heavy to start.
Yeah.
You change that process at all, knowing like how few full-time linebackers we have?
Probably. DL's been looking pretty good though.
And Fred Warner, I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, should he have been a top 3 overall pick? You know.
Yeah, potentially. At least a top 6.
Yeah,
Maybe.
first half of the first round or something like that. But yeah, if you were redrafting today, I'd say you probably are lining up like Hutchinson,
101.
Fred.
No, I guess. Well, yeah, it'd be like Hutch 101, T.J. Warner. I'm sorry, T.J. Watt.
Max is in there as well. You know, Max is I think still top 3 for this season.
Still is.
So-
I guess it still is tough. There's you still got Bosa. You still got
Yeah.
Micah Parsons.
But
Max
it does get
is-
to a certain point to where you're like
But I-
Brian
Second deal.
Burns or Fred Warner.
Well, I think it's like Josh Hines Allen.
yeah.
Like he's no longer there. It's
I
Fred
agree.
Warner. So it's like Fred Warner probably like 107, 108
For sure.
range.
For sure.
Yeah, he is. Max is the number 2 DL right now. Keon White, number 3. Pat Jones. What do you make of this Pat Jones character, Addy?
He's done this stuff in stretches before. There's just too many people there.
He's like the new DJ Wanham.
Yeah.
Don't trust it.
Yeah.
But
Let
he's
somebody
not,
else
But he's
blow
not
their
getting the
fab.
Wanham. He's not getting the Wanham snap share. Wanham was getting like 80% of the snaps last season, like just a volume type play.
He's the new Bryce Huff in
Yeah.
super efficient on.
Yeah, he's
not a lot
getting
of snaps.
48.6% of snaps.
Yeah. No.
Gank is 81. Grenard 67.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust that. And Turner's still going to be getting probably an increasing snap share. So, yeah, it's no one's going to be trusting that.
Let's do this real quick. Let's play a little game. Just say in week 3 whether you would start these guys or not. Denzel Perryman,
No.
Deion Henley,
No.
Addy,
Nope.
Micah McFadden.
Maybe.
What did he get last week? Snap
He
share.
got a nice little
He
snap
got
share.
80% last
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, and he like put up a ton of tackles.
Yeah. Okereke put up 100%.
I mean, yeah, McFadden, I like him probably better than all those other ones we just named.
You're
Yeah,
starting
he had
Kenneth.
12 tackles.
You're starting Kenneth Murray. 94% to
If
Ernest
he's
Jones.
healthy.
100.
Yeah,
if he's
he
healthy.
needs, but his production's not been great yet.
Okay. KJ Britt.
Nope.
No, he's done. He's on waivers.
Servassier Dennis.
He's not good enough either, but I like what he's doing.
Yeah.
We'll
I'm
watch
keeping,
him.
I'm keeping an eye on him.
Yeah.
Ivan Pace.
No.
Nope.
Overshown.
No.
Damone Clark.
No.
Trenton Simpson.
He got 100% last week.
I think so, yes.
Yes.
Devin Lloyd.
Yes.
Yeah, he's looked good.
Jordan Hicks.
Yep.
Yep.
We talked about pick one, Derek Barnes or Jack Campbell.
Probably Barnes. I don't want it, but I don't think I can roll out
Yeah.
Campbell over him
No.
if I
Okay.
have the option to start either.
Pick
And I was like,
one.
no, I'm not
Pick
picking one.
pick one, another one. Tranquil or Chanel.
Tranquil.
Yeah, Triangle's getting the snaps.
Yep.
But I do love Chanel.
You starting Henry
I wish-
202?
Wish they get
Yep.
Bolton out of there.
As long as Christian Harris is in there, man,
Yeah.
let it fly.
Troy Anderson.
Yep.
Yeah, oh yeah. Now
Let's-
Layman's out.
Let's talk about it. That's
Nakobe.
the last bullet
No.
point.
Nakobe's like a grading
Okay.
awful.
Yeah, he's like one bad play away from getting yanked. But Devin White's inactive. Let's talk about it. Nate Landman goes on IR before the Monday night game against the Eagles. Cleared up the linebacker room significantly. Troy Andersen logged a much healthier 94% snap share versus his 44% from week 1. He notched 8 tackles without making a splash play, giving him a solid baseline as a weekly LB replacement moving forward. Devin White, healthy scratch. Once again, leaving both Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond playing all but one of the defensive snaps, even with the volume. Yeah, we're not really interested in Dean just because the play has been so bad. But Zach Bond, 24 tackles and 2 sacks through 2 games. He looks like a quality every week start.
Yeah.
I don't want any other Eagles linebacker. Caden Ellis and Troy Andersen, both, I feel fine now with Landman gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want
got
any?
it? Have we got it?
Landman,
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me.
what are you
I want
looking
Landman,
for?
Landman.
Oh, I don't know that I have that one.
come
That one's really loud too.
Wake him up.
Who were we talking about?
The Falcons and the Eagles linebackers.
Yeah. I do want to give a shout out to Devin White. That's a tough situation. And did you guys see that locker room interview?
The special team stuff where they
Where
asked
he's,
him.
he's like, I haven't really played special teams.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you actually have. You played quite a bit of special
yeah,
teams.
but it's just that's just a tough situation, man.
Yeah.
To have to be asked that question and talk about that stuff, and yeah, I thought he handled it pretty well at least, and he's saying the right things.
I think he'll get traded. I do. Eagles are not afraid to make moves. Buffalo should be reaching out right now. Hello.
Yeah, a lot of needs out there at linebacker.
Yep.
Hey, Jeremiah Trotter could be coming. Little flag plant for me.
Could be.
They're going to have to play somebody else. Ain't Nakobe Dean.
But I mean, I don't want anything outside of Zach Bond.
For right now, no, absolutely.
And then the other character was
The Atlanta Falcons.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Troy Andersen wheels up, baby. I mean, he got 94%.
8 tackles. Caden Ellis 10 tackles. 100%
I mean, this is
snaps.
actually like perfect because it was a mess, right? Like,
Yep.
That's the problem. Like Landman and Troy Andersen, but like they both were the same, so the coach was just playing them both like 50% of snaps.
Landman was in on rundowns and Anderson was in on passing downs.
Yeah.
So
now
not really either of them useful at all.
Yep. So this is great. This is good. Andersen gets his value back, and he got a chance to really boost his value too.
And I think run away with the job. Like if he plays well, holds down the fort, I don't think Landman's coming back
what's
in.
What's Landman's injury?
I don't know. I wanted to see if he was actually going to be going off with for a significant amount of time.
He did land on IR,
gotcha.
right?
So he's out at least 4 games, but I haven't seen anything about the injury.
He was grading very well, but you're right. I mean, if they can't keep him on the field for third down, like what good are you?
Yeah. I just think Andersen has never really been able to stay on the field and have that opportunity to show I'm the guy. Like I can win this job because he had his chance last year and he got hurt.
Yeah.
And then he was out.
I don't think he's going to be anything special, but
No.
now he's just, by default.
Now we can finally see what do we have in this guy, right? Because I think he's going to be playing damn near 95% of the
This
snaps
is
probably.
year 3 for Mr. Andersen.
That's right.
Mr. Andersen.
Mr. Andersen. His passport expired on 9/11, if you want to
Wow.
know Matrix trivia.
Never forget.
Little fun bit of trivia for you.
Great movie. We saw that in the theaters, Josh.
Did we?
Yeah, remember?
No, I don't.
Josh, I don't remember.
I think so. One of them. Maybe it was the second.
I think it was the second one because I'm pretty sure I saw the original on like VHS or DVD with my parents at their house.
Same, that's true.
Because it was 1999, I think that came out, so I'd have been like 12.
Yeah.
Mind
It got a lot
blowing.
of buzz. It got all the buzz, and then everyone, got the VHS.
Yeah, got
maybe
the
DVDs
I
were
think
out then.
I think Mom cleaned out the basement recently, and I think I saw the Matrix DVD.
Yeah, I feel like DVDs were
Coming
just starting.
Yeah, just starting. We had the laser discs for a while there.
Wow.
Never watched them because they almost immediately got replaced by DVDs.
Yeah. Upper class right here, guys.
That's right. Laser discs, baby. Air
Wow.
Force One, I think, was one of them.
Bluetooth.
It's a great movie.
a great movie.
That's
Harrison
not it.
Ford.
Blu-ray.
Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Bluetooth as well.
Sure.
Don't know where that name came from. It's kind of a weird name when you think about it.
Blu-ray?
Bluetooth.
Oh, Bluetooth.
Yeah.
A lot of blue stuff. What's up with that?
What's up with that? A lot of words being said tonight. What you got for us, Bobo?
What about, I want to talk about my team for a minute. Troy Reader, the PFF
Getcha?
grades were a little better.
You back in?
Went from 47 in week 1 to a 65 overall in week 2. 71 in coverage. Christian Roseboom is very poo-poo.
They did get beat by 25.
They did. I'm just trying to make sense of,
Did get scorched.
are we living with Reader, or is Omar Spates going to start seeing some run here soon?
Well,
0 snaps so far, right?
yeah,
you guys
I know.
are 0-2, right?
Yep.
What do you
Just
have
lost
to lose? Yeah.
Yep.
You lost Puka. You lost Cup.
That's the
The offensive line's gone.
You got to kind of think about what happens if you go 0-4, 0-5. I mean,
Why don't we think about throwing Garoppolo out for a couple weeks? Let him get mauled.
I forgot
oh,
Jimmy
he's
G
your
is
backup.
there.
Wow.
I think he's off suspension now. I think he had a 2-game
Let
suspension.
Stafford catch a back injury.
Yeah, here we
until
go.
the offensive line is
Throw
healthy.
Stafford on IR. I don't care.
And get Jimmy G out there.
Yeah, it's just such a mess, and because it's like so many questions of like which wide receiver is it going to be, which linebacker is it going to be? It's like I don't know. Why couldn't we just keep Ernest Jones?
Yeah, it seems like not a situation you want to be in as a team.
Yeah,
Because it's like the Titans are like, oh, well, how fast is Ernest Jones going to take to get up speed? 2 weeks. It took 2 weeks for him to turn Jack Gibbons into absolute dust.
Yeah.
And I
Played
think
more
he
than
could
Kenneth
be.
Murray.
I think, Kenneth Murray, I think, went off a little bit with an injury, but it could be Ernest Jones just LB1.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as next week.
the Titans good. Have they looked good? I
No,
haven't
they're
really
0-2.
watched them. Okay.
Will Levis is just like Carson Wentz, dude. He's just like,
great.
what horrible backbreaking, turnover can I make this play?
Awesome.
You had the surrender cobra where he throws that god awful left-handed interception to Tyreek Stevenson. This week it was like the underhanded shovel pass that got recovered.
The Tigers even he took to the house, right?
He housed it, yeah. That totally changed the game. Gave the game to the Bears.
Won you our matchup. Thanks, Levis. Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Thank
dog.
you, Willis Levis.
Who is your favorite? I'm not necessarily saying from an IDP value, and it can't be Aidan Hutchinson, but who's your favorite person that you've kind of rostered in IDP so far, like that you drafted that you feel it's kind of like, you know,
I've got an answer.
got a verification of like, man, it just makes me feel good I've got him.
Jermaine Pratt.
Okay.
I went like linebacker cheap.
Yeah.
In our auction, I had a lot of guys that I was very excited to throw some cash at, and they went crazy, bonkers in the auction. And so I was like, all right, Jordan Hicks, Jermaine Pratt, Drew Tranquil. I had Britt there.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to let him cut him loose. Had Tyrese Knight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Jermaine Pratt has been outstanding.
Addy?
Cashman, Spillane,
Yeah.
Singleton, like all those guys are really, really good values. And
Yeah.
like, they're rock solid.
Doing what you thought they were going to do.
Yeah.
Did I tell you?
Top 15ers, I think.
Yeah.
I missed the parlay, the beautiful parlay I had from IDP Bets by half a tackle.
Mac Wilson, the Wilson
Mac
Bros.
Wilson, yeah. So close.
Frick me.
If they hadn't have blown out the
Oh,
Rams,
exactly. It was
he's
just such a
in.
weird-ass
Yes.
game.
When do you ever think the Cardinals are going to be benching their starters?
That's what's so frustrating.
Yes.
It's just you never know when those games are going to be like that. And we got unlucky there.
Kyler didn't play like the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
It was over.
He was in the
third.
locker room playing Call of Duty.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Have y'all seen there's a new Call of Duty coming out?
October 26th.
Have you seen
Oh,
that tweet?
man.
Yes. It's like cash out while you can. New Call of Duty coming out. So, all right. Well, I think that's it, boys. Anything else y'all want to touch on here before we wrap up the week 2
Let's pull up
recap?
let's do what we did last week. Let's pull up our waivers. Talk a little RSO, XFFL waivers. This is our
Yeah,
favorite.
they're kind of
league.
spicy.
Y'all got me revealing secrets because I do actually have waivers set.
Oh.
I did it earlier.
No,
today.
it's just the way it's got to be. I mean, you know, and there is one guy I want to talk about off rip.
Let's do it.
Andrew Phillips.
Okay.
Giants.
Andrew.
Giants 3rd round pick this past draft out of Kentucky. Let's go. Shout the hell
boy.
out, baby. 66 snaps on Sunday, 60 in the slot, 6 on the defensive line, 11 tackles. This could be the next
Big
slot dude.
Yep.
He's got that dog in him. I think you might want to get this guy. Just saying. But yeah, let me pull this up. See who else we got out there.
Did you spell him?
put in a little
Andru.
Yeah, Andru. Yeah, that's a good point.
Andrew.
And it is 2 L's and Phillips. But yeah, I think he's a great option. That's what we're looking for, right? We're looking for these slot types, these guys with that great usage, and yeah, he's someone that I'm going to be adding. Dennis Gardeck's out here in our league.
Yeah, Jason Pinnock also.
He's good.
Yeah, Pinnock finished the 2023 season really, really solid.
And he has like a lot of those spike weeks and whatnot.
Exactly.
He did that last year.
Yep.
He'll be frustrating, but he'll also have like some legit like 30 burgers.
Why is Calvin Noy out here? Who dropped him?
He's out here. Someone had to make room, but so they put Van Noy out there on waivers. I'll probably put a claim in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Tyler Nubin handled the majority of the box safety snaps. Jason Pinnock looks like was primarily deep.
Also, Jamie Sherwood is available.
That's a great one right there.
Interesting little name.
Yeah, did we ever get an update on C.J. Mosley's toe injury?
Carded.
Carted, yeah. So probably didn't want him to walk with it being a toe.
Yeah.
Never like to see the cart come out.
Out of your boy, Jonah Ellis looks okay.
Yeah, he's gotten some nice snaps so far. Got a sack last week. Love to see that. Just a big rotation there.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's ever going to get like more than 45, 50%.
Oh, and the Jets play on Thursday.
Yeah.
They play on Thursday against the Patriots. So C.J. Mosley did not participate in the walkthrough, not looking good for Thursday night.
Yeah.
Sherwood would replace him as the middle linebacker / signal caller.
So I mean that's who I would add. Like out of all those guys we talked about, like Spector, Dorian Williams, who else were we talking about? Jack Campbell. Like I would probably add
Jamie and Sherwood.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's going to be the green dot,
That's what it said.
We know how productive those linebackers typically are there in New York. So that'd probably be the one. Also, I noticed Von Miller's out here on waivers. I mean, he's back, folks. I mean, the pressure rate's great. He looks good. Now, the snaps aren't going to be anything outrageous. You'll be getting 40 to 50%, but still, that can equal 2 sacks with Von Miller.
Nice little flex play.
So
Little high upside flex.
Milton Williams with the sack last week. Love
it's
to see
nice
it.
to see that.
What's your boy Grover Stewart doing, Joshy?
Well, we'll see.
Bunch of nothing.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be called upon now with DeForest Buckner on IR.
For sure.
So honestly, not that spicy.
Yeah.
Some okay names out there.
This is a really
Our league is deep, though.
Yeah,
45-man roster.
It's a little deeper. Also, I did look at one last thing. Some guys that have put up high pressures, low sacks.
Okay, let's talk through
That's
it.
typically a tweet I do
you
every
the solo cam.
season.
Man, I love these tweets.
Micah Parsons, 14 pressures, 1 sack. Everyone calm down. He's okay. Yaya Diaby, 12 pressures, 0 sacks.
Okay.
Jonathan Grenard, 12 pressures, 1 sack. George Karlaftis, 10 pressures, 1 sack. Joshua Sweat, 10 pressures, 0 sacks. Jared Verse, 9 pressures, 1 sack. And he's been awesome without the sacks. So good things to come for him, I think. Montez Sweat, 7 pressures, 0 sacks. Chase Young, 9 pressures, 1 sack. Who cares?
Who cares? Don't do it.
He sucks.
But the Saints are the best team in the league now, Addy.
He looks slow out there, too. You guys ever watch Chase Young?
Oh, yeah.
Looks super slow. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, it's not that
Lumbering around.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's not that sad. He got,
He's doing fine.
He has money.
He got $15 million, I think, guaranteed.
He's not giving up
He's doing all right.
$800K a week.
Yeah, it's true.
All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Week 2 recap. Hope you all are enjoying this new format, these episodes. Appreciate y'all checking us out over on YouTube, youtube.com/@theIDPshow. About the time this video goes up, we'll have the IDP After Show going up as well this week with Mike Wohlert. Great lineup coming up for you all. Some really fun names we've got locked in for the preview show. IDP Bets, we've got Scott Bogman coming on this week with Johnny to take us through their favorite tackle and sack props for week 3. And hopefully, maybe next week we'll come in and not have a horrifying slate of injuries to have to wade through.
Hope so.
Let's just pray for health, y'all. Just make it through.
Such is life sometimes.
Such is life.
We'll do our best to get through it. We will
That's
get
right.
through it. We'll get through it together, guys.
We'll get through it together.
Nothing we can't do together.
The injuries are fun because then you get,
The injuries are fun.
you know,
he
you
says.
You get Colton Steele.
Troy
right.
Reader. Well, Colton.
Go put in your bids on Colton Steele, everybody.
You're going to want to get this guy.
He's got an alligator and long hair. What else do you need to know? But thank you all again.
Like everyone that has long hair, they probably have some type of amphibian.
some type of amphibian or a snake. It's
I love that.
it's a little scary if you think about it. But thank you all for tuning in. Week 2 recap. Y'all enjoy the football. We'll see you next week.
It's the IDP